Love can be one of the most beautiful yet mysterious emotions, especially when someone is trying to hide it. Have you ever had a feeling that a guy likes you, but he hasn't said anything? Maybe he acts differently around you, finds excuses to talk to you, or remembers little details that no one else does. These subtle signs can often reveal what words do not. Many men, whether due to shyness, fear of rejection, or simply wanting to be sure of their own feelings, won't openly confess their love right away. Instead, they express their emotions through actions, gestures, and behaviors that might seem small, but actually speak volumes. Sometimes, they don't even realize they're doing it. Love has a way of changing how people act without them even noticing. Think about it. Does he always steal glances at you when he thinks you're not looking? Does he remember tiny details about your conversations? Does he find ways to be near you, even when there's no real reason? These are not coincidences. When a guy is secretly in love, his subconscious mind gives him away in ways he might not even be aware of. You may also notice how his friends react when you're around. If they tease him, give each other knowing looks, or seem unusually interested in your connection, chances are they know something you don't. A guy in love often talks about the girl he likes, even if he's too scared to tell her directly. Then there's the way he treats you compared to others. Does he listen more intently when you speak? Does he support you unconditionally, even in the smallest things? Does he get nervous or act differently around you? If he seems more protective, more engaged, or even a little jealous when you talk to other guys, these could all be signs that his feelings run deeper than friendship. Of course, not every sign means he's secretly in love, but when you start noticing multiple behaviors lining up, it's worth paying attention. Some guys are naturally kind, some are flirty with everyone, but when a man is truly in love, his actions go beyond casual interest. His efforts, no matter how subtle, are consistent, and his behavior around you is different from how he acts with others. So, if you've ever wondered whether a certain guy secretly has feelings for you, keep reading. The following signs will help you decode his behavior and understand what's really going on in his heart. If you recognize these signs in someone, there's a good chance he's hiding something deeper than just friendship. And who knows? Maybe he's just waiting for the right moment to finally tell you how he feels. 1. He steals glances at you. When someone is secretly in love with you, they can't help but steal glances at you, even when they think you're not noticing. His eyes naturally gravitate toward you in a crowded room, and whenever you catch him looking, he quickly looks away or pretends to be focused on something else. It's as if he wants to admire you without making it obvious. He may not openly express his feelings, but his gaze speaks volumes. Even in group settings, his attention subconsciously drifts toward you. When you're talking, he listens intently, his eyes fixed on you longer than necessary. If you're laughing, he's secretly watching, soaking in the moment. If you're upset, he notices immediately, even before you say anything. His stolen glances aren't random. They're filled with curiosity, admiration, and affection. There are times when he might even hold eye contact a little longer than usual, almost as if he wants to say something but stops himself. His eyes reflect emotions he isn't ready to put into words. He might look at you when you're not looking, but the moment your eyes meet, he looks away as if he's been caught doing something he shouldn't. This behavior isn't just occasional. It happens repeatedly. It's an unconscious habit that he can't seem to break. His glances reveal his inner emotions, the ones he's trying to hide. Even if he never openly confesses his love, his eyes tell a different story. Sometimes, love is expressed in the quietest ways, and those stolen glances might be his way of showing just how much he truly cares. 2. His body language mirrors yours. When someone is secretly in love with you, their body language naturally syncs with yours without them even realizing it. This subconscious mirroring happens because they feel connected to you and want to build a sense of closeness. If you cross your arms, he might unknowingly do the same. If you lean forward while talking, he may mirror your posture. This isn't something he's doing intentionally. It's his mind's way of aligning with you on a deeper level. Mirroring is a strong psychological sign of attraction and emotional connection. It shows that he is paying close attention to you, absorbing your energy and wanting to be in sync with your movements. You might notice that he picks up on small habits of yours, like the way you tilt your head when you're thinking, or the way you play with your fingers while talking. Over time, his body language begins to reflect yours, creating a sense of harmony between you two. Even in conversations, you may find that he adjusts his tone, pace, or gestures to match yours. If you speak softly, he might lower his voice too. If you're excited and animated, he naturally becomes more expressive. This unspoken connection creates a sense of comfort and familiarity, making you feel more at ease around each other. One of the clearest signs of mirroring is when he subconsciously copies your movements without even noticing. If you take a sip of your drink, a few seconds later, he does the same. If you brush your hair back, he might touch his hair too. These little actions may seem small, but they reveal a deep level of admiration and attraction. His body language is silently expressing what his words haven't yet revealed. He's drawn to you more than he's willing to admit. 3. He finds reasons to be around you. When a guy is secretly in love with you, he will always find reasons to be around you, even when there's no real necessity. Whether it's coincidentally showing up where you are or volunteering to help with something just to spend more time together, his presence in your life is anything but accidental. He may linger after conversations, even when everyone else has left, just to steal a few extra moments with you. If you're part of a group, he somehow always ends up sitting next to you or positioning himself close by. At work or school, he might find excuses to ask you a simple question, even if he could have easily found the answer elsewhere. He creates opportunities to interact, whether it's borrowing something, offering to help, or casually joining an event he knows you'll be attending. Even in digital spaces, he finds ways to be present. He might randomly reply to your stories, send a meme that reminds him of you, or text you about something minor just to keep the conversation going. His efforts may seem subtle, but they reflect a deep desire to stay connected. It's not just about physical presence, it's about effort. He remembers details about your schedule, your likes and dislikes, and uses them to naturally integrate himself into your life. If you mention wanting to try a new cafe, he might suggest going together. If you love a particular band, he suddenly expresses interest in their music. These little gestures aren't random. They're his way of showing that he enjoys being around you and wants to make sure he's a part of your world, even if he hasn't confessed his feelings yet. He remembers the little things about you. When a guy is secretly in love with you, he pays attention to even the smallest details about you, things that others might overlook. It's not just about remembering your birthday or your favorite color. It's about the little things that truly matter. He recalls the way you like your coffee, the random story you told weeks ago, or the fact that you get excited about sunsets. He brings up things you've mentioned in passing, showing that he listens intently whenever you speak. If you once told him about your childhood pet, he might casually ask about it later, proving that he genuinely cares about what you say. When you're having a rough day, he remembers what cheers you up and might send you a song you love or a simple text just to check in. His memory isn't selective, it's emotionally driven. He remembers what makes you happy, what stresses you out, and even the way you react to certain things. If you're obsessed with a particular snack, he surprises you with it. If you casually mentioned a book you wanted to read, he might bring it up later or even get it for you. These thoughtful actions aren't accidental. They show how much he values you. Even in conversations, he picks up on your habits and preferences. If you always order the same dish at a restaurant, he notices. If you prefer texting over calling, he adapts. These small, meaningful gestures reveal that you're constantly on his mind. Love isn't always expressed through grand declarations. Sometimes, it's in the quiet, unnoticed details that show just how deeply someone cares. 5. He gets nervous around you. When a guy is secretly in love with you, he may not always be able to stay calm and composed around you. Instead, His nerves often betray his true feelings. No matter how confident he is in other situations, being near you makes him a little more awkward, fidgety, or self-conscious. You might notice him stumbling over his words, laughing at things that aren't that funny, or fidgeting with his hands, clothes, or phone when he's talking to you. He could avoid direct eye contact at times, only to steal glances when he thinks you're not looking. His body language might shift, crossing and uncrossing his arms, adjusting his posture, or playing with something nearby to keep his hands busy. His nervousness may also show in the way he overthinks his actions. He might hesitate before sending a text, take longer to respond because he wants to say the perfect thing, or replay conversations in his head later, wondering if he said the right words. If he's really into you, he'll care about how you perceive him, which can make him act a little differently around you compared to others. Another clear sign is when he tries too hard to impress you, but ends up making small, clumsy mistakes, like dropping something, tripping over his words, or laughing a little too much at your jokes. It's not because he's careless, it's because your presence makes his heart race. Even if he's usually smooth and confident with others, his nervous energy around you is a giveaway that you matter to him. Love has a way of making even the most composed people a little flustered, and his nerves are just another sign that his feelings for you are real. 6. He texts or calls without any reason. When a guy is secretly in love with you, he doesn't always need a reason to reach out. He just wants to stay connected. Whether it's a random text, a meme, or a simple, "Hey, what's up" message, his goal isn't just casual conversation. It's to keep himself on your mind. At times, he might send a completely unnecessary message, like asking about something he could easily Google, or getting your opinion on something trivial. He may not admit it, but these small interactions are his way of staying in touch without making it obvious that he just wants to talk to you. Even when there's no real topic to discuss, he finds excuses, like sharing a song, talking about a random event, or mentioning something that reminded him of you. Calls can be an even bigger sign. If he calls you without a real reason, it's because hearing your voice makes him feel closer to you. He might call under the pretense of needing advice, checking in on you, or just because he had a funny story to share. But deep down, he's doing it because he enjoys talking to you and wants to create more moments together. Another giveaway is when he keeps conversations going, even when they could have ended. Instead of giving short replies, he engages with your messages, asks follow-up questions, and adds unnecessary details just to extend the interaction. He doesn't want the conversation to stop because every chat with you feels special to him. Whether it's a random text in the middle of the day or a call late at night, his effort to stay connected shows that you're constantly on his mind, even if he's not ready to say it out loud yet. 7. He supports you without hesitation. When a guy is secretly in love with you, he becomes your silent cheerleader, always supporting you without hesitation. Whether it's something big like a career move or something small like choosing what to wear for an event, he's there, encouraging you every step of the way. He listens when you talk about your dreams and ambitions, and instead of dismissing them, he genuinely believes in you. If you mention a goal you're working towards, he remembers it and checks in on your progress. When you doubt yourself, he's the one reminding you how capable and amazing you are. His support isn't forced, it's natural because he genuinely wants to see you succeed. Even in the smallest things, he makes sure you know he's there for you. If you have a big presentation or an important event, he wishes you luck or even helps you prepare. If you're feeling down, he finds ways to lift your spirits, whether it's through words of encouragement or simply being there when you need someone to talk to. He doesn't need a reason to be supportive. It just comes from the heart. His actions also show his support. If you need help with something, he's the first to offer. If you're struggling with a problem, he doesn't just give advice. He actively tries to help you find a solution. Even when he's busy, he makes time for you because your happiness and success genuinely matter to him. This kind of support isn't just a sign of friendship, it's deeper than that. He doesn't just care about you, he's invested in your happiness. His unwavering support is a reflection of his feelings, showing that he truly wants the best for you, even if he hasn't confessed his love yet. 8. He acts differently. When you're around. When a guy is secretly in love with you, his behavior changes the moment you walk into the room. No matter how cool or composed he usually is, something about your presence makes him act differently, sometimes in ways he doesn't even realize. If he's usually loud and outgoing, he might suddenly become quieter or more thoughtful when you're near, as if he's extra aware of how he's coming across. On the other hand, if he's normally shy, he might try to be funnier or more talkative to impress you. His energy shifts because he wants to stand out in your eyes, even if he's not consciously trying. His friends might even notice and tease him about it. Maybe they smirk when you're around, or give each other knowing looks, because they can see how his mood and behavior change whenever you enter the scene. If he's extra nice, fidgety, or suddenly more aware of his surroundings, it's likely because your presence affects him in a way that no one else's does. You might also notice small, nervous habits, fixing his hair, adjusting his clothes, or suddenly becoming interested in whatever's in his hands. He may laugh at your jokes more than others do, even if they aren't that funny. It's not that he's pretending. It's that your presence makes him more engaged, excited, or anxious, depending on his personality. His change in behavior is one of the clearest signs that he feels something special for you. Whether he tries to impress you, gets nervous, or suddenly becomes more protective and attentive, it's a sign that you have a unique effect on him, one that he may not even be able to hide. 9. He gets jealous, but tries to hide it. When a guy is secretly in love with you, jealousy is one of the biggest signs, even if he tries his best to hide it. He may not say anything directly, but his body language, facial expressions, and subtle reactions will expose his true feelings. If you mention another guy, he might suddenly go quiet, change the subject, or make a sarcastic remark. He could pretend not to care, but his slight change in tone or mood gives him away. Sometimes he might ask unnecessary questions. "Who's that?" Or, "Do you like him?" as if he's trying to gauge your feelings without making it obvious. When he sees you giving attention to someone else, his reactions might be subtle but noticeable. He may fidget, cross his arms, or avoid eye contact while pretending he's unbothered. If he's usually playful, he might become unusually serious for a moment. If he's typically reserved, he may overcompensate by acting extra confident or joking about the situation. These are unconscious ways of handling emotions he doesn't want to admit. He may also try to insert himself into the situation, making sure he's still part of the conversation, or subtly shifting your attention back to him. Sometimes he might even bring up other girls in an attempt to see your reaction, just to balance things out or hide his own jealousy. Even if he never directly says he's jealous, his protective instincts, sudden mood changes, and hidden frustration when you mention other guys are all signs that he sees you as more than just a friend. His jealousy isn't about control. It's about the fear of losing someone he secretly loves but hasn't confessed to yet. 10. He teases you in a playful way. When a guy is secretly in love with you, teasing becomes one of his favorite ways to interact with you. It's his way of getting your attention, making you laugh, and creating a special connection without openly admitting his feelings. His teasing is never meant to hurt. It's light-hearted, playful, and often mixed with a smile or a laugh. He might playfully mock something you say, exaggerate your habits, or give you a funny nickname. If you mess up while talking, he might repeat your words in a joking way. If you're passionate about something, he might pretend to disagree just to see your reaction. His teasing is his way of keeping the conversation lively and making you smile. Unlike mean-spirited teasing, his words are always filled with warmth. Even if he pokes fun at you, it's never to bring you down. It's to create a fun and flirty dynamic. He enjoys the back-and-forth banter because it keeps things exciting between you two. If you tease him back, he loves it even more because it means you're comfortable with him. Sometimes, his teasing might even have a protective side. If you're struggling with something, He might joke about it but then subtly offer to help. If you're nervous about a test, he might say, "Oh, so you finally decided to study?" before giving you encouragement. His jokes may have a deeper meaning. They're his way of showing he notices you, cares about you, and enjoys being around you. In the end, his playful teasing isn't just random behavior. It's a way for him to build a bond with you. If he's always finding ways to make you laugh and lightly challenge you, it's a sign that he's secretly in love but isn't quite ready to say it outright. 11. He listens to you more than anyone else. When a guy is secretly in love with you, he listens to you in a way that no one else does. While others may hear what you say, he truly absorbs every word, remembering the smallest details and making you feel like your thoughts and feelings genuinely matter to him. He doesn't just nod along or give generic responses. He engages in the conversation, asks follow-up questions, and shows a real interest in what you're saying. Even if it's a topic he wouldn't normally care about, he listens attentively because it matters to you. Whether you're talking about your favorite childhood memory, a random dream you had, or even complaining about something small, he's fully present. You may notice that he brings up things you mentioned weeks or even months ago. Maybe you casually talked about a favorite book, and later, he surprises you by asking if you've read anything new. Or perhaps you mentioned feeling nervous about an upcoming event, and he checks in on you afterward. These little details show that he's not just hearing you, he's holding on to everything you say. Even in a group setting, when others might get distracted or talk over you, he stays focused. He notices your tone, your emotions, and the hidden meanings behind your words. If something is bothering you, he picks up on it, even if you don't say it outright. His ability to listen deeply is more than just good conversation skills. It's a sign that he truly values you. He's invested in your happiness, your thoughts, and your world, even if he hasn't openly confessed his feelings yet. When a guy listens like this, it's not just politeness, it's love in disguise. 12. His friends know more about you than you expected. When a guy is secretly in love with you, his friends often know more about you than you ever expected. Even if he hasn't confessed his feelings to you, chances are he's been talking about you to them, whether intentionally or unintentionally. You might notice little hints when you interact with his friends. Maybe they already know your favorite coffee order, your hobbies, or that funny thing you did weeks ago. They might drop casual comments like, "Oh, we've heard a lot about you," or give each other knowing glances when you're around. Sometimes they might even tease him in your presence, making playful remarks or nudging him when your name comes up. His friends may also treat you differently than they do other people. If they're extra nice, protective, or seem overly interested in your relationship status, it's likely because they know how much he likes you. They might even try to subtly push you two together, making excuses to leave you alone with him, or hyping him up in front of you. Another sign is if he gets flustered when his friends bring you up. If they mention you in conversation and he quickly changes the subject, laughs nervously, or tells them to shut up, it's a clear giveaway that he's been talking about you. He might not realize how obvious it is, but his friends do, because they know how much you mean to him. When a guy's friends know surprising details about you, it's because he can't help but share things about you. Whether he's asking for advice, gushing about something cute you did, or just bringing you up in random conversations, it's a sign that you're constantly on his mind, even if he hasn't told you directly yet.